support system, family's church, small group, and believing in the same thing, connection, communion. Whoa.
Find community.
Yeah, community. Like main community here is church. It's basically you guys. And like aside from the Wednesday connect groups, like this Sunday get together. Well, we just recently started this. It's not like we get together every Sunday, but us being an expat and having a community is very important, and I think it's very essential. Being a Christian in a foreign country, especially in a country where there's scarcity of believers, I think it's really nice to have this, you feel at home by sharing the same faith and worshiping the Lord together.
So I think as a student, which about half of us are here, we get a lot of our community from our fellow students. From studying together, learning together, taking tests, presentations together. And I noticed, at least in myself and probably others as well, that the moment that lockdown hit and we stopped going to school, we stopped seeing our fellow students, that's when I personally more heavily relied on my church community more than I ever did ever before, because the student part of my community very drastically got taken away, so to speak. So I think I much more appreciate now my church community and my small group.
For me, it was like I joined this church during the pandemic. Everything was online, and I actually last year I came to Christ over the summer, and so the Lord put on my heart to join Hillsong Church. And then after I joined the Connect group and met beautiful people, and it's just so encouraging for me, and I think for you guys as well, in like having that strong relationship with Christ, just like through community with each other, right? So to see you guys grow in relationship with Christ is such a encouragement for all of us. I feel personally that my relationship with Christ grew even more after coming into this community. So
to add on that, I think as a Christian and being an expat is just, we have such a blessing of knowing that the Church of Christ is everywhere.
Right.
Amen.
And it was just so impactful to me because it took me time to really go to church because I was a bit shy. I'm like, I'm alone here, I don't know anyone, I really don't want to go. So maybe if I knew, I have done this, just months before. Since I got here, the first thing I would look for was a church because it's where you make friends, and then suddenly you just become family somehow, because we don't have our own family here.
Yeah, even my friends and family in the Philippines, when they see my posts on social media, they're like, how are you able to make friends that easily? I'm like, that's what it is when you go to church.
Exactly.
You make friends easily. That's like, I think that's church. That's how it is.
That's church. And it's everywhere. It's like people from everywhere with different backgrounds, different cultures, and believing in the same thing. That was so impactful to me.
Yeah.
Like when I came, I was like, there's people from everywhere. I was like, whoa, so it's just, that godly community, that environment that just, strengthens our relationship with Christ. That is just amazing.
Well, in my situation, having this Christian community, it made my faith stronger because I have seen different perspectives of beliefs that you guys share, and that helped me to be more understanding of my beliefs, and it made me stronger. My connection with the Lord again is strong as ever. So it's very important.
It's so good. Just one thing, because when you move to another country, you just get to know different versions of yourself, right? That's natural. But I feel that when I came to church and met all of you, I just know myself in ways that I didn't know before, because your faith gets deeper and deeper every time, and the power of communion, especially these days, it has such a strong, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just that I'm becoming someone that don't know
Yeah.
I could be
Right.
because of you guys. Because then you also like share a little bit of everyone.
Right.
You just take it, you know,
Yeah.
and you become this person as well. So.
Also, I was so naive before coming here because I thought coming to the Netherlands, oh, the Netherlands is such a liberal country,
Yeah.
a free country. Everything is like everything can happen there. So I thought like it would be so hard for me to like, find a church community or a godly, establish a godly relationship with people.
Yeah.
Because I kind of have this very self-righteous thinking before coming here, so I felt like I'm not gonna be as godly as I am, if you know what I mean. So that's what I thought. Because since I don't have anything here, if I'm not planted in a church, if I'm not part of a Christian community there, I don't have anything there. It's really nice to find people with the same. We might come from different backgrounds and nationalities, and we might have different stories in life, but it's wonderful. It's amazing to see that we all believe in the same God and we all want the same things. I mean, and that is just to honor God and
And I wanted to throw a question out kind of based on that.
Yeah.
How do we find ourselves honoring God in our day-to-day lives? Like when it's not Sunday and you're working or doing your normal, like the reason you're in the Netherlands thing. How do we feel that we honor God in that way?
anyone wants to
Let's go first.
Well, I'm an au pair, so what I basically do is I take care of the household, I take care of children. I think my way of like honoring God throughout my week, showing God's love through me extending His love towards the children and even the family I'm taking care of. It's not only kids I'm taking care of, but also I'm basically taking care of the entire family, the household. I cook for them, I clean the house, all domestic stuff, But from the culture I grew up in, a lot of people would not understand what I'm doing here. A lot of people would assume that I'm a housemaid. Being an au pair is more than that, it's beyond that. So aside from the culture exchange, actually the impact and the value that I'm bringing to the children's lives, at the end of the day, I get reminded of God's love for me and how He was able to fly me out from my country during the pandemic. And it was something that I thought was impossible to happen because the situation in the Philippines before flying here was just an evidence of God's faithfulness, that He does make things happen even during like the most impossible, during an impossible time and situation. So I guess I honor God through the kids that I'm taking care of and the family, the household I'm taking care of. It's extending His love towards them. So
His love through you to them.
right.
This is something that I constantly struggle with. I want more of God in my daily life and in my work. But something that I trust is that if I am speaking to someone, that God will give me the words to say. And whether I am trying to have a spiritual conversation with someone, am just having a conversation where I am sharing love with them and supporting them as a person, I trust that God is giving me the words to say in that conversation. So that's kind of, and praying like every morning, like praying, God give me the words to say in whatever conversations that I'm gonna have today.
Also because you said that you're such an introvert.
Yes.
So it's hard for you to socialize, especially with people that you're not like used to.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And you're a teacher, so your words do have an influence. I think I don't know if it's honoring Him or just looking towards Him, but like praying for like, hey, I have a deadline. Like, please pray for me. Like when I'm in Connect Group to like have a freaking motivation to do this. And right when we switched to online schooling, I think I kind of honoring God also by like really not judging the teachers as they were also trying to like adapt, which is really hard to do. This teacher, she doesn't know what she's doing. And I started praying for my teachers. I started like praying that God would like use them to the best of their ability and like help them adapt to this really hard new setting. I was praying for her and I was like, please give this teacher like the guidance that she needs. Like yes, pray for my school stuff and like all the help I need, but they probably also need a lot of help right now as well.
Anyone else wants to add on?
It's open.
With community.
Thinking about the question from Michaela, I think for me, basically, I try to honor God during my work, of course, because it consumes a huge part of a week.
Right.
So like 8 to 5. Well, I take it very seriously and try to bring God also into that. And I try to honor him like, hey God, what do you want me to do here? Because sometimes it's just hard for me to focus on him when life is happening such a human and daily life way, you know? You're just working, you're just in meetings, and you're just doing what you're told to do. And I need to take this time sometimes to stop and say, hey God, there's more to it, you know? And when I think about the companies that I've been working here in the Netherlands or the positions that I was filling, it was so hard, guys, because it was just a cultural shock for me, especially in terms of communication, the Dutch way of speaking, and like I used to take everything so personally. So it's just a journey of getting adapted to it, but also see that God has been softening the hearts of people. A lot of personal feelings is not only get the job done, and I'm fine with that. But I think that's where God comes in me. It's really putting everybody to sit down, speak up together, focus on the goal, don't focus on the fights or whatever. So I think that's been my mission. Being really bringing flexibility to people, making sure that everybody sticks together. That's the most important.
My situation as a student, I think I'm honoring God by acknowledging the opportunities that He gave to me. You know, having the opportunity to study abroad, learning new things, adding skills to yourself, and you know, doing the best that you could do. Maximizing that opportunity is my way of honoring God as a Christian. So
You also get to work on the side, right?
exactly.
Yeah. I think the highlight of my experience here would probably be realizing that my desires before coming here totally changed when I got here. This might be a desire still in my heart that I want to be a mom. Maybe in the future God will grant me that, but not right now. God made me realize that this is not what I want for you right now. Because I realized that in myself, that when I'm taking care of the kids, like, I can't believe it sometimes how much love I'm able to pour out to these kids, and they're not even my own. So how much more would it be to my own kids and to my own family, right? Like how much more am I willing to give to my own household? So right now I'm like very thankful that God had planted me in this place. This made me realize that what I want in life, and this is I want to serve. I think that's my calling in life, to serve. Before it was like the word was homemaker. But now that's like too specific, right?
Yeah.
But now it's just to serve.
I think that's so beautiful because especially like being in au pair, and last week we were praying about like how you're going to another country, and I just can clearly see in your case that serving is just what God has planted for you, because you are a representative of Him, and wherever you get is going to be the place where He wants you to be and to change the environment. And do you know like how much responsibility it is to take care of the house and to take care of the kids? But that's such a privilege.
God bless you.